It's been a while since I have been so excited about a makeup launch that I ordered it on launch day, paid for expedited shipping so that I could film, edit, and upload my review in the same day. I'm so excited for this collection. This is the My Dream collection from Natasha Denona. I ordered the eyeshadow palette and the face palette, so I only ordered 2 items. I didn't order the lips just because I just did a huge lip declutter and I got rid of literally hundreds of lip products, so I knew I didn't need them, but I did need the palette, both of the palettes. So that's what I'm going to be reviewing today. I have part of my makeup done. We're going to do a demo. I'll give you guys my initial thoughts. If you are new to my channel, don't forget to subscribe and give this video a thumbs up if you enjoy, and let's go ahead and get started. I haven't even opened the box yet. I was actually planning on uploading a different video today, but then I remembered that this package was supposed to get here today. It got here in 2 days, which is when it said it would. I think I ordered it on Tuesday. Today is Thursday, and I ordered it from the Sephora website. Usually I feel like Sephora kind of lets me down with their shipping, not gonna lie, but this got here on time and I'm so excited. Oh my gosh, I love Natasha Denona. So here we have the My Dream Cheek Trio, and then the palette is in here. It's the My Dream Palette Midi. So this is the Midi palette. These are the ones that are $65, so they're not like the super expensive like $130 ones, but they're still a pretty penny. I do have quite a few Natasha Denona palettes, so I will compare as many of them as I can to this palette. We'll see which ones are similar, if there are any that are similar. So I ordered this collection through the Sephora app. That was the only place that it was available at the time that I purchased it. I do believe it's available on Beautylish now. I will have the collection linked down below in the description box in case you guys are interested in checking it out. I'm so excited, like I said. Let's start with the trio, the face trio. Let's see how the packaging looks. I don't know how I feel about the paint splatter. It just reminds me of like middle school. I feel like when I was in middle school, like neon paint splatter, like clothing and stuff was just really popular, like back when like duct tape was a big thing. So that's kind of the vibe that I get when I see paint splatter. So I feel like it's kind of not clicking for me. Like I don't know, it gives me a weird vibe, but I think that's like a personal association. I think it's really cute as far as like the neutral tones of the packaging and whatnot. I do like the packaging of this palette. It's similar to the Midi palettes as far as like the sides, the rounded edges, the component. This is the first time I've seen a palette like this. It's nice and sleek. Some of her other like quads, face quads, are like a thicker, more square palette. So here is what the palette looks like. We have 1 blush and 2 highlighters. Oh, this is a glow cream base, dream glow, and a cream blush. I didn't even realize what the products in here were, so now we know. There is some product smeared on the mirror. That's interesting, but it's okay. It looks like the cream base is just like elevated a little bit, and I think that's just an imprint from touching that product. It's possible that I didn't set correctly, or maybe there's just variation, natural variation in the way that that product sets, but there is the palette, and this trio was $48. I didn't know that it was that expensive. That's a lot. All right, and then the eyeshadow palette is $69, and this has the same colored packaging. It looks really good with the little face palette. Look at how cute. Same exact pattern and design. And here we have the My Dream Collection palette. Here is the best I can get without a glare. My ring light causes that glare right there, but here's what the palette looks like. It's really pretty. I feel like this is going to be a beautiful fall palette. It's very neutral, but there are some gorgeous like berries and kind of like purpley tones. We also have a multi-chrome shadow here and good variety of mattes and shimmers. I'm feeling very washed out, so we're going to go ahead and apply the blush from this palette. So I'm on the Sephora app, and it says that this is a new lightweight formula that combines advanced gel technology with specialized resin for one-stroke creamy coverage and a subtle flushed finish. I don't really know what that means. One stroke creamy coverage. I'm trying to decide what I want to use to apply the blush. I'm going to go ahead and swatch it. It feels like it has Oh wow, that is actually very pigmented. It doesn't feel overly creamy. It's definitely more along the lines of like a, not a putty, but kind of the texture of a putty, like the dryness of a putty blush. Look at how pigmented that is. It almost has like a slippery feel, kind of how a mattifying primer would feel. I'm guessing this is gonna have a matte finish. I'm gonna try to apply this with a brush. We'll see how it goes. I'm just gonna swirl my brush in there. You can definitely see the product being picked up. I'm gonna tap it on the back of my hand. Okay, so let's see how this looks. I'm just going to tap because I did set my face with powder. I don't know, creams are always iffy when you apply them on top of powders, but since this is such a matte feeling formula, oh wow, that's actually really pigmented. I feel like this is gonna play really well on top of powder. That's actually so pretty. I love the color. It looks like a nice natural flush, like when it's cold out and your cheeks get a little bit rosy. So here's the side with the blush and then without. Again, I'm gonna try to swipe this time and just see how that goes instead of tapping. Looks like it's not disturbing the foundation underneath, which is nice. So I don't think you have to be like too careful with this product other than how pigmented it is. Like looking at the viewfinder, it didn't look so pigmented because the lights kind of blow the pigmentation out, but like in person, oh my goodness, that is pigmented. I would venture to say that I went a little bit heavy-handed with the blush, but that's okay. I love blush, so I'm not upset about it. Next, I'm gonna swatch the Glow Cream base. It looks like it's more on the sheer side. This is definitely more of like a slippery, wet, cream feeling cheek product. You can definitely see the product, but like I said, it's pretty sheer, nice and natural. I could see this giving a nice dewy finish. And then we have Dream Glow, which is a powder highlight. Oh my gosh, that is absolutely blinding. It's super soft. I love the way that that feels. This highlighter is a gel to powder formula. On this side of my face, I'm going to go in with the Glow Cream base on my finger and just kind of tap that. I'll try both highlighters on. I'll do the cream highlighter over here and then I'll do the gel to powder over here. So here we have the Glow Cream base. It definitely has more of that natural dewy look. I will say right away, it does not look good on top of powder, at least in my powder. I used the Nakia Joy loose setting powder today. It's definitely kind of like eating away at the powder and not looking cute around the edges, but I could see this looking beautiful on like natural skin. So we'll revisit this in a second, but now I'm gonna go in with the Dream Glow highlighter on this side and we'll see how, oh my gosh, look at that highlighter. This is super intense, very high shine. It also looks really smooth on my skin. It doesn't really accentuate my texture too much. Sometimes really intense highlighters can add to your texture, but it just looks really smooth on my skin. I feel like I went in with like a little bit much, so I'm just gonna take a clean brush and kind of just tap that down just to kind of get rid of a little bit of excess product because I wasn't expecting it to go that intense. But look at how pretty that is. I love this highlighter. This one, it's cute, but again, I think I need to try it with like no makeup on, maybe just a little concealer and mascara and brows, but it doesn't look terrible. I've had cream highlighters look worse on over powder. It doesn't look terrible, it just doesn't look perfect, if that makes sense. I would definitely still go out with this highlighter on like this, but I've seen better. Next, we are moving on to the eyeshadow palette, which I am most excited for. I'm gonna go ahead and swatch all of the shades for you guys on the back of my arm so that you can see everything swatched out. Again, here are the swatches of the 3 cheek products. I will revisit the cheek trio at the end when I give you guys my final thoughts, but for now, we are switching over to eyeshadow. Here's the top row swatch from top to bottom. We have Blackest Black, Aspiration, Serenity, Carpe Diem, and Babies. Here's the middle row swatched from top to bottom. We have Instinct, Thrill, Unity, Risk, and Invention. And finally, we have the bottom row swatched from top to bottom. We have Vision, Edgy, Spontaneous, Nurture, and Familia. So that top shadow, I don't know if you'll be able to tell, but that is a multi-chrome shadow. It's like a green to pink, I would say. It's absolutely insane. I really, oh yeah, you can definitely see how the color shifts. That is beautiful. That's the only shadow in the palette like that. The shimmers are like 10 out of 10, and the mattes are so creamy. Like, look at how pigmented this deep berry matte shade is. I am extremely impressed by these swatches. I don't think I've seen swatches this good in a long time. I did want to show you guys some comparisons with this palette. So I have the retro palette here, which I think could have some similar shades. There's definitely a few similarities between the berry tones. So on top we have the My Dream collection, and on the bottom here we have the retro palette. So as you can see, some of these berry tones up here are similar to what you would find in this palette, but it's definitely not a dupe or not overly comparable when you're looking at the palettes as a whole. Next we have the Glam palette down here with the My Dream palette up here. Obviously the Glam palette has a lot less color. I don't really see much of a similarity here, maybe like 1 or 2 shades, but again, very unique as far as comparisons go within the NATASHA Denona brand. The Love palette is not even close. This has way more reds and pinks compared to the My Dream palette. And then we have the Biba palette here, which again, there's just no comparison. There is no palette that looks like this within the NATASHA Denona collection, in my personal opinion, at least up until this point. Although it does have a lot of like wearable, kind of like neutral tones, I feel like it's a super unique palette, and I love this. Like I said, I get fall vibes from here. I love the berry purpley tones along with these warmer kind of orangey fall tones. So let's go ahead and zoom in and let's do a fun eyeshadow look. I think I'm gonna throw it back to the good old days when I used to review a lot of eyeshadow palettes and do 2 different looks. So I'm gonna do one look over here, one look over here, because I don't have to have this makeup on all day, and that way I can show you guys 2 different looks with one palette in one video. I'm gonna start by priming my eyes with my MAC Paint Pot in the shade Soft Ochre. I always prime my eyes with a MAC Paint Pot. It's my go-to eyeshadow primer. 10 out of 10 would recommend. I have my bling brushes pulled out because I have a feeling I'm gonna need several eye brushes for these 2 looks. I think I'm gonna do one look on this side that I would like typically do on a daily basis, so not something like super creative or out there. This is gonna be like, is this ideally wearable for me every single day? So this eye is going to be a lot more simple. This one will kind of play around a little bit more. I'm starting off with an E3 from Bling Brushes. You guys can use code PAIGE for 10% off. And I think I'm going to go in with Unity, which is this kind of matte peachy color right in the middle of the palette. And I'm going to start by putting that through my crease. Next, I'm going to take the shade Carpe Diem, which is similar in tone, but it's slightly deeper. It's the shade right here. And I'm just going to use that same brush, and I'm going to tap that in my outer corner. Then I'm just going to blend it a little bit to soften up the edges. If you wanted to deepen that further, you definitely could with the shade Familia right here, but I think I'm going to leave it like this. I think this is deep enough for me. And I'm also kind of lightly dragging with whatever is left on the brush. I'm dragging that through my crease just a tiny bit to add a little bit more definition. I think I lied. I think this bottom shade right here, which is called Thrill, I think that might have a little bit of a multi-chrome to it too. It kind of looks green sometimes. I'm not sure if I'll be able to get that to show up on camera, but it kind of has a little bit of a yellowy green like shift to it. So that one also might be a multi-chrome, but Vision for sure is like probably one of the most beautiful multi-chrome shadows I've ever seen. Next, I'm going to take the shade Spontaneous, and I'm just going to take that on my finger and apply that to my lid. And then I'm just tapping on the edge between the outer corner and my lid shade just to kind of like lightly blend it out. I will go in with a brush to smooth out the edge, but this kind of helps that process. I'm going back in with Carpe Diem, and I'm just going to tap that just to kind of bring back a little bit of that color. Then taking an E27, I'm going back in with Carpe Diem again, and I'm going to put this along the outer portion of my lower lash line. I'm also going to bring that on the top part of my lash line, my upper lash line, only in the outer corner, almost like a little bit of an eyeliner. It's the same shade that's in my outer corner, but instead of blended out, it's just like kind of stamped on there, so it's a little bit more intense and pigmented. Ooh, I think that's so pretty. And then for just like a little bit of extra fun, I'm gonna go in with the shade Babies, again taking an E27, which is just an angled brush. This is the same one, I just wiped off the eyeshadow. I'm gonna go in with Babies, and then I'm going to put this on the inner part of my lower lash line. I'm honestly obsessed with the way that this eyeshadow is looking. I'm gonna go back into the cheek trio, and I'm gonna go in with the gel to powder formula, and I'm gonna take this on an E22, which is my favorite brush for inner corner highlight, and I'm just going to tap this right in my inner corner, little stamping motions, and then boom, perfect inner corner highlight. I'm obsessed. I'm also going to take a little bit more and just put that on my brow bone. We're going to finish this eye off with some mascara. I'm going to go in with the Anastasia Beverly Hills Lash Brag Volumizing Mascara. So here is the finished eye look. I'm honestly obsessed with it. I love the way that it looks. I love the colors. I would say this is a little bit more dramatic than my everyday go-to looks. It's just a little bit deeper. If I had just stuck to the shade Unity and put that in my outer corner, I think it would have been more like everyday for me personally. I mean, I would wear this every day, but the fact that the Carpe Diem shade is so deep on my skin tone, it looks more like a color and less like a neutral tone on me, but I think it's absolutely beautiful. I think adding the touch of the shade Babies on the lower lash line on the inner corner was super helpful, and I also loved taking the shade Carpe Diem on the liner brush on my lower lash line up onto the top in the outer corner. You can hardly see it now that I have mascara on, but up close I can see a difference. It just adds a little bit more definition, kind of creates a pointed eye, kind of elongates like fox eye type vibes, which I feel like isn't even like super popular anymore, but I really like the way that this eye look looks. I think it turned out great. I have absolutely no complaints. Now we're gonna do this side, which I probably should have done this look on this side because this side is like my more difficult side. Like I feel more natural doing my right eye because I'm right-handed. So we're gonna do the more creative look over here. Also, the longer that I'm looking at my skin, the prettier this natural kind of glowy cream highlighter is looking. I will say the edges aren't seamless like I mentioned, but it definitely is growing on me and it's looking a lot better than I initially thought that it did. Once again, priming my eye with my MAC paint pot. So I don't know if this is gonna work out. I'm gonna be taking a risk here, but we will see. I'm gonna start by grabbing an E3. This is just a regular blending brush, and I am gonna go in with the shade Instinct. I'm trying to pick between Risk, which is this shade, and Instinct, which is this shade, but I feel like I have to just like go there. So we're gonna go Instinct, and I'm going to tap my brush into the shade because we're gonna be doing a little bit of like a halo eye type thing. So I'm going to tap this in my outer corner. I'm also going to take a smaller brush. This is actually a lip brush from Laying Brushes, but it is good for more detailed work on your eyes. So I'm going to take that shade and put that on the inner portion of my eye. I kind of connected it just to give me a guide for the shape of the eyeshadow that I want. So I want something really rounded. So now I'm gonna touch this up. I'm gonna have to go back in and touch this up. But now I'm gonna go in with Vision, which is the multi-chrome shade, the like purpley pink to green. And I'm going to tap this on the center of my lid. Now I'm going to take another one of these lip brushes. This is a clean one, and I'm going to blend the edges between the shades Vision and Instinct. Also, my camera battery is about to die, so I will be right back. I'm back with a fresh battery. I did want to show you guys, I got a little bit of fallout from that shimmer shade. Nothing too crazy. Let's hope that I can just kind of wipe it away by lightly like brushing the bristles across my skin. Yeah, that absolutely left nothing, or it left absolutely nothing. Okay, so fallout is not an issue so far. Next, I think I'm gonna take the shade Instinct, which is the inner and outer corner shade, and I'm gonna take another one of these angled brushes. This one is from the silver set. This is the E6. And I'm going to take this along my lower lash line just to add a little bit of balance. And then I'm gonna take a clean brush and I'm gonna start blending out the edges here. We'll see how this goes. Again, this is, I feel like, a trust the process moment. I don't know if this is gonna turn out good, but we will see. Once again, I'm going in with the Dream Glow highlighter on my E22. Sorry, my Fortnite, my live stream is playing. I'm gonna put this on the inner corner and brow bone. I decided to put a little bit of the shade Vision on the inner portion of my lower lash line. Now I'm gonna add mascara. If mascara is not enough, I am going to put on an eyelash just so we can get the full effect, because this is a very dramatic look. So I'm gonna make final touches, put mascara and all that on, then I'll come back for you with my final thoughts on this collection. Alright, you guys, so here are the two finished eye looks. I only did mascara. I decided to not do lashes just because I feel like the mascara did enough, but I am gonna like cover half my face for each side. So this is a mirror, but here is what the first look looks like, the more like natural, everyday wearable for myself personally side. This is my favorite side. I love the way that this eye look turned out. And then we have this side, which is much more dramatic, much more colorful. I wanted to use that multi-chrome shade, the like purple to green. I really hope that you'll be able to see the effect that that gives on camera, but I think that the eyeshadows themselves were beautiful. It's been a minute since I've tried to do something creative with eyeshadow, so I was a little bit worried, but I think it turned out cute. Definitely not like the best artistic skills, but I still think that the eye look turned out really cute, and I feel like if you had like a specific dress or like fun outfit to wear with this eye look, I think it would be so cute. So although this won't be my everyday go-to, I was happy to kind of play around with some colorful shades. Overall, I think this palette is so fun. This is not my dream palette. It's called the My Dream Collection, and I think that's really cool. I like the concept behind it, but it isn't my dream collection. I wouldn't have so many colors and, you know, purpley darker shades, but that would just be for me personally, once again. But I do think that this is a fantastic palette, and I'm really excited for a majority of these colors. I cannot wait to do a look with the shade Invention, this like orangey shimmer shade. I think this is absolutely beautiful, and I can't wait to use this. I really wanted to use this today, but I chose Vision, the multi-chrome shade, over this one just because I thought like this was gonna be like the talk of the palette. So that's why I decided to go in with that shade and try to create something that like would work with a color like that. But I definitely want to try to use this orangey shade soon. So many of these colors are beautiful. I'm just obsessed with these shimmers. That's the shade Babies. Then we have Spontaneous, which is the one that's on my lid on my right side here. So I think this palette is great. I think it's super, super fun. I thoroughly enjoy this collection. As far as the cheek products go, I think they all still look great. I will say that I do appreciate that you can tell a difference between the formulas. A lot of times when you apply highlighters from different formulas, they look very similar on the cheeks, but you can tell that this is like a dewy, creamy highlight, and you can tell that this is more of a powder formula, and I like that because you have two products in one that give you completely different results, which I think is super good, and I think that makes it not repetitive. So I really like this palette. I will continue to use it. I don't know what it was worth, $48. I feel like that's kind of a lot. I don't know. I don't know about this one. I think it just depends on the person. If you love this blush color and you think you'll get a lot of use out of this palette, then I think it's definitely worth it. As far as formulas go, these are unique formulas. They worked really well for me. I have absolutely no complaints formula wise. This isn't my go-to blush shade. I prefer more like peachy kind of pink blushes. I would say this is more of like a cool toned mauve, but this is probably a lot more universal than what my personal blush choice would be. So I think this is a great palette. If the colors speak to you, if you think the formulas are going to speak to you, I think it's definitely worth it. But I wouldn't like say this is like my new favorite palette, mainly because of colors. Formula wise, I think this is super fun and different, and I am very impressed with this palette, especially that powder highlight. I love it so much. But then again, I also love the creamy highlight, so I love both. And then the eyeshadow palette itself, I I love her Midi palettes. I think they're so fun. I like literally collect them. I'll show you guys my stack. This isn't even all of them, but I have a stack of Midi palettes and I just love them. I think they're great. I would say my favorite one is Retro because it has the most like pinky colors. I love the pinky colors. I also love, I love them all. I do. I love all of them. I love Zendo. I love Love, Glam, Bronze. And then we have the My Dream, which I think this is great. And I think this is going to be a great fall palette. I think she really did. She did a good job on this palette and I'm excited. I was not disappointed. This was an expensive collection for just 2 products, but like I said, I think it was worth it. I wanted to thank you guys again for watching today's video, and I hope that you all enjoyed. If you did, don't forget to subscribe and give this video a thumbs up. Like I said, I will have these products linked down below in the description box. I'll also link the lip products in case you are interested in those. Like I said, I wanted to get them, but I just knew that I didn't need them. I have too many lip products. If you missed my lip declutters, it was a 2-parter. It was that intense. I'll link them down below if you're interested. Like I said, I literally decluttered hundreds. I had hundreds of lip products and I got rid of about half of my collection. So if you're interested in that, that'll be linked down below as well. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm gonna go edit and upload this now. I feel weird like talking to you with 2 different eye looks, but it's fine, it's fine. I love you all so much. I hope you have a wonderful day and I will see you in the next one. Bye.